Hey, Vision Chasers, Dr. Byrd here. Today, I want to talk to you about being average. About being average. Now, definitely, I don't want you to be average. I want you to be above and beyond average. But I want that's the topic of my conversation with you today. Hey, Vision Chasers, Dr. Byrd here. Today, I want to talk to you about average. Being average. Now, definitely, I don't want you to be average. I want you to be above and beyond average. But we're going to have a discussion about average because I understand that being average, there can be a bit of a seduction by just being average. That's good enough. We did it, man. It's fine. It's fine. There can be a small voice in your head just letting you know that, hey, you've done enough. It doesn't take all that. That's fine. It's good enough. No one's going to see those imperfections. No one's going to see that you didn't go the extra mile to make it better than what it is. But as a vision chasers, ladies and gentlemen, and this is so important for us to focus on this as we begin this new year. As a vision chaser, we have to be different. We have to seize the day. We have to give attention to those small things because they are so very important. They make the difference. They make the difference. And when it comes to being average, our quote of the week is from Miss Taylor Swift. And she said this. I love it what she said here. She said, "I'm intimidated by the fear of being average." I'm intimidated by the fear of being average. Now, whether you like her or not, we're not going to get into all that. The music, we're not going to get into all that either. But you can't deny that she's super successful. And there is something that we can learn from the fact I just met a exercise goal sitting here recording this video. Interesting. Thank you, Apple Watch. There is something that we can learn from the fact that she believes this, that I'm intimidated by the fear of being average. We can learn from that. We can grow from that. That's why we use quotes. Our quote of the week: I'm intimidated by the fear of being average. And I want you to be the same. Refuse average. And I want to give you some tips here. 3 tips to refuse average. Because sometimes the average is just, it's calling you. It's trying to convince you that, hey, that's good enough. Don't do anymore. So let's get into this. 3 tips to refuse average. Number 1 is say no to comfort. Say no to comfort. Now, you all know that there's, that we have a comfort zone where we're fine. We're good. This feels nice. I'm okay. I'm not being pushed. I'm not being stretched. I'm not tired. I'm comfortable. Well, you have to say no to discomfort, because outside of that comfort zone, that's where we're going to find growth. That's where we're going to move closer to our vision of success and beyond. Certainly there are going to be those times where you got it and that's good, but life is not easy. And the things that you want out of life, they're not going to always come to you without resistance. Please know that. If you're not if you're not experiencing any resistance, you're doing it wrong. Because it's through that resistance that we learn and we grow and we get better. And I want to always remind you that and I want to remind you as well that it's always important to do your best. It's always important to do your best. Certainly, you can cut corners. If no one is watching, you can do a less than your best job on something. But I want to remind you that what that does to you is that puts that seed in your mind that, okay, average is okay, especially if no one is watching. I want you to refuse average. Don't even give room for that seed to grow in your mind that average is okay in any situation. So always do your best. Always give your best effort. That's not always going to be comfortable. That's not always going to be convenient, but that is always going to be best for you as you chase your vision of success. Number two, I want you to always focus on building your capacity to do more. How do you do that? You do that by studying, by reading, by finding ways to develop yourself. By watching this video, you're building your capacity to do more because you're learning tips that you can use in your life on your journey to your vision of success and beyond. Now, that's the other thing. You got to implement the tips. It's one thing to hear them, but it's an entirely different thing to implement them, because it's through the implementation, when you get good feedback that's going to help you learn and grow, you have to use that feedback, because that ultimately is going to build your capacity to do more, You see, that's, when you come up against resistance, you come up against problems, what happens is you're able to use things that you've learned, because you've built up your capacity to do more, to solve those problems. And then that leads me to the third tip, which is solve problems and don't let them paralyze you. Solve problems and don't let them paralyze you. And when you, as I said before, when you have that, you build up that capacity to do more. When you learn from people who are giving you feedback, or you learn from others who are mentoring you, you build up your capacity to do more. And then you also have more tools in your toolbox, so that when you come up against a problem, you're not paralyzed, because you have all of this information in your head, because you've built up your capacity to do more. You can say, I don't like this problem. This problem is just, it's very tough, but I'm not going to stay there, because I've got some ideas firing in my mind based off of things that I've learned in the past. You see, the opposite is, a problem can paralyze you and have you thinking, oh, this can't be done. This is why this can't be done. I'm never going to do this. This is going to take too much time. So you have all those seeds of doubt growing in your mind when you're paralyzed by the problem. But that's not you. You're a vision chaser. You know that you need to keep moving. And when we talk about the problem solving process, because that's what you need to begin when you come up against a problem, I just did a video about the problem solving process and what it is, and the 4 steps in the problem solving process. So please check that video out. That video is going to bring you a lot of value and help you when you come up against those problems, when you do come up against those problems, because you are going to have problems that you inadvertently cause, or problems caused by just the situation or by someone else. There will be problems. That's the bottom line. So let me sum up those 3 things for you. How to refuse average. Number 1, say no to comfort. You have to refuse being comfortable and just accepting the convenient solution. Number 2, build your capacity to do more. Always focus on learning as much as you can. Always be willing to try and develop yourself. And then number 3, focus on solving the problem and not letting it paralyze you. And that simply means begin the problem solving process. And again, I encourage you to check out that video. Well, Vision Chasers, I thank you so much for watching that video. And until we meet again, please keep chasing the vision. Bye.